in the Temple of the Rants, where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This one is for Basil, who says, rant about the rants that are prompted to you by your $15 a month patrons. A lot of them are fun to do. I like when they have a more specific, interesting approach, particularly when it's something that people clearly know that I care about but haven't gotten the chance to really hear me talk about, or I haven't found context to talk about it. So, like, especially when people ask me about, say, a band that everybody knows I like, but, like, I don't really have any particular reason that I would make a video about that band, but I love the opportunity to get to talk about it, you know? I definitely hope, like, when I make these, that people are, you know, have some kind of thing that has been on their mind that they've wanted to hear me talk about more, but they know I haven't, you know? The worst rants are when people want me to talk about something just because they're interested in it, but haven't actually checked to make sure that I know anything about it, which I've been trying to respond to a lot of those people and tell them, like, hey, I don't know about this thing. Like, are you sure you want me to rant about this? You know, like, I don't so much want to have to form an opinion suddenly so that I can do a rant about it, and I'm certainly not going to consume, like, a long-form piece of media, which I ordinarily wouldn't have, just to make a rant about it. You know, the point of these is not so much get Digibro to talk about any random thing you want him to talk about. It's more like if there was something that you wanted to hear more about that you know that I could talk about, but I wouldn't have any reason to other than, you know, someone paid me to do it. So, you know, I also just really like the ones that are more general, that are just questions, like something like the guy asking me about, like, my favorite words. Like, I have no reason I would make a video about that, but it's reasonable to assume that I have favorite words, you know, even if it's not something I've necessarily touched on all that much. Like, it's something that you could ask anybody and they would probably have some kind of answer. You know, I do think sometimes that my answers might be a bit of a letdown if it's just like, well, you know, like the one I just did about motorcycles. I managed to find everything I possibly could say about motorcycles, and I hope it was satisfying, but, like, I don't have any personal, you know, experience with them, so you're not going to get, like, an amazing motorcycle story if that's what you're hoping for. But at the same time, if you yourself are someone who's passionate about that thing, and you just want to know, like, regardless of how deep it is, what are all my thoughts on it, just so you can have that question silenced in your mind, I think there's probably a value for some people in that, based on the responses I've gotten to some of these rants. I haven't really had, you know, many cases of people being unsatisfied. I think the only person who was really pissed off was Rika Fag when I just shit all over his Curse of Evangelion video without finishing it. But I think that was a case of him not really appreciating what the point of these was, you know, that it wasn't really to give, like, a fair review of a thing. It's just, like, it says right in the description, I will consume as much of this as needed to form an opinion on it. You know, like, that's as far as I'm going. $15 is not that much for my time. Like, I understand that it might seem like, you know, a lot for a 7-minute rant, but if I have to do research on it, that's, you know, first of all, that's adding more time, and secondly, my time can be more valuable than that. I can use that time to go make something that would make me more than $15 an hour or per 10 minutes or whatever, you know, something that's not so specific to just one person and probably isn't going to get a whole lot of views because it's just a thing you wanted to hear about, you know. So, yeah, like, I don't think many people have come into it with those kind of expectations, and so there hasn't been as much disappointment. But you know, I also have been kind of doing them last minute. So even if there were ones, sometimes there have been ones I wanted to do more research and then just didn't have the opportunity by the end of the month, and I, you know, feel a little bad about it. But again, if I don't get complaints, I'm not gonna rectify my actions or, you know, introspect in any way. But yeah, I do have fun with the ones where people are just like, rant about whatever you want, and then it's like, oh, sick, I happen to have something I'm pissed off about on my mind, so this will be great, you know? But definitely my favorites are the ones where the person clearly knew that I would have an opinion on this thing and I just haven't talked about it yet. And, then it's like, yes, finally someone's given me the chance.